Well, today we are launching a new weekly segment with our journalism partner, Nigeria's Channels TV. Every Wednesday, Channels TV reporter Chythia Areh will join us on Africa 54 to discuss the hot topics in Nigeria and across the continent. Chythia, welcome to Africa 54.
I'm pleased to be here, Vincent.
Well,
I'm right here. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you. Now, today, of course, Nigerians and their global community remain deeply concerned over the abducted schoolgirls. Chythia, give us a sense of where things stand today in Nigeria.
Well, initially, when the abduction occurred, it appeared as though the government was doing more talking or more acting than talking. I can't exactly say that the government didn't do anything when it first started, but it wasn't necessarily communicating it to the public. So it was assumed as though the government wasn't doing anything. But since the protests have begun, the government has been more vocal. There was a media chat that took place on Sunday where the President, Goodluck Jonathan, actually went ahead to dialogue with citizens, answering different questions and assuring them that things were being done. A committee has been inaugurated to address the situation particularly. Now it's become an international issue, and we're having countries join us to help find these over 200 missing girls. We've got the U.S., France, we've got the United Nations basically helping the Nigerian government to address this issue. So even though the World Economic Forum Africa has kicked off in Abuja and it's going on today, it does not overshadow the fact that everyone is still looking out for where these girls are. It is not swept under the carpet. That is still the question that everyone is asking. Where are these girls?
Exactly. And, many people have been saying, why has it taken so long for the government of Nigeria either to rescue these girls or at least to come out very openly and ask for help from elsewhere if need be? What did the authorities say?
Well, as regards, that's what I said initially, Vincent. The government was doing more acting than talking. So it appeared as though it wasn't doing anything. But from the start, when the girls were actually abducted, the government was doing something but not communicating it. But now that the protests have gone global, it is now making the progress known to its citizens, making the progress known to the world, and keeping everybody in check, letting everybody know what's being done right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You every day basically hear Reuben Abati, the president, comes out and speaks as well. The committee briefs the Nigerian people and those who are interested in finding where these girls are, the progress that has been made so far. For instance, today, $300,000 has been offered to anyone who can volunteer useful information to finding these girls. So all these steps are now being communicated. The government is no longer keeping silent about what it's doing.
Now, there were some reports that actually some of these girls may have been taken to Cameroon or sold off to some form of slavery or married off. Is there any confirmation of some of these reports?
Indeed, those reports did surface, but the Cameroonian and Chad governments have said that did not happen. The governments of Chad and Cameroon have denied that. So even though the borders are obviously porous, they have denied the fact that those girls have been smuggled into their countries and sold as wives. So it is a speculation, but there's nothing to actually cast that in stone, since the governments in particular have denied it.
Now, you made reference to the economic conference that is taking place there. How is the security around this conference, and are people in Nigeria actually even paying attention to this conference?
Well, basically, following the Yanya blast and this abduction, the government wasn't willing to take anything for granted. So it did declare from today up until Friday a public holiday in Abuja. There's supposed to be no movement whatsoever. All organizations, institutions are supposed to close down. There is full security. There's security on ground. There's security in the air. They're not taking anything for granted right now because we've got people coming in from all around the world, and they could be targets. So the government is on its toes, and so far everything has gone beautifully, and we hope that it will stay that way because the government is really putting a lot into this to make sure that everyone stays safe.
Well, Chythia, we do appreciate very much your insight. Thank you. Well, our thanks to Chythia Areh of Channels TV for joining us today on Africa 54. Now, be sure to join us every Wednesday for our weekly discussion with Chythia on topics affecting Nigeria and the continent. We want to know now what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered during the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com.